In the last video, we looked at Gaunilo's perfect island objection to Anselm's ontological argument. In this, our final video on Anselm's argument, we're going to look at Anselm's response. Pardon me. Here again is Anselm's ontological argument. Premise 1, God is defined as the greatest possible being. Premise 2, God is a possible being. Premise 3, existence in reality is a great making quality, therefore God exists. So, if God has all of the great making qualities and existing in reality is one of those qualities, if existence in reality is greater than merely existing in the imagination, then God, by definition, has that quality or property. Unless, of course, he's not a possible being, but premise 2 assures us that he is. And so that's how this argument is purported to work. Well, here again is Gaunilo's perfect island objection. Gaunilo, and remember Gaunilo is a monk, he's not objecting to the conclusion, that is to say, he agrees that God exists, right? He can agree that God exists and still think this is a bad argument. And you could agree. You might believe that God exists and still believe that this is a bad argument. Anyway, he suggests that we put in the name of this fantastical, perfect lost island and replace that, replace God with that. And so let's do that. Premise 1, Xanadu, that's the name that I've chosen here. Xanadu is defined as the greatest possible island. Premise 2, Xanadu is a possible thing. Premise 3, existence in reality is a great making quality. Well, therefore, Xanadu exists. Gaunilo thinks, hey, I've used the exact same reasoning and proved the existence of something we know doesn't exist. Therefore, there's something wrong with your reasoning, Anselm. But Anselm has a fantastic response. I said in the last video, I think that Gaunilo's response is really interesting and really clever. And that's true. I think it's sort of brilliant. I think Anselm's response is perhaps even more brilliant. Anselm's response is essentially, no, my argument works, and it works for God and only for God. Your mistake, Gaunilo, is to attribute infinite perfections to a finite thing. Let's take a look again at the argument. So, take a look at premise 2. Xanadu is a possible thing. Anselm's going to have a problem with that premise. Let's all agree that a beautiful waterfall is a nice feature on an island. Let's just all agree to that. I think there's already a problem that there's some subjectivity about what makes an island perfect. I think that's already a problem, by the way. I think that my perfect island and your perfect island might differ substantially. And I think that's already problematic. But nevertheless, let's all just agree that a beautiful waterfall is a great feature to have on a perfect island. Now, would we agree that 2 beautiful waterfalls would be better than just one on our perfect island? I think that would follow. Well, how about 3 beautiful waterfalls? Wouldn't that be better? How about 4 beautiful waterfalls? I just thought of something. We could have 6 beautiful waterfalls. You see where I'm going, of course. There's no upper limit. We could keep adding features. We could keep adding more and more and more and more features to the island. In fact, poor Gaunilo couldn't have chosen a worse example, maybe, than an island. By its very nature, so finite. In any case, there is an upper limit problem here. We could just keep adding more and more and more and more and more beautiful features. But there is no upper limit problem with the second premise when we're talking about God. In this second premise, God is a possible being. There's no similar upper limit problem there. God has all the great making properties. For instance, strength. How much strength does God have? All of it. He's omnipotent. Knowledge. Knowledge is one of the great making qualities. How much knowledge does he have? All of it. He's omniscient. Moral goodness is one of these qualities. How much moral goodness does he have? All of it. He's as morally good as could be. There isn't the same upper limit problem. So again, Anselm's response, let me go back. Anselm's response to Gaunilo is no. My argument works, and it works for God, and only for God. Your mistake is attributing infinite perfections to a finite thing.